say there was a bunch of fucking stuff. Like, what are you talking about?
You just said this is a bigger thing. I'm upset about a lot of different
Jesus
things.
fucking Christ, I didn't say that. I said that I was fucking upset with you about this, and that was a bigger thing because you constantly do the same. It's still the same thing. It's just not a one-off incident. It's a constant fucking
I
thing.
know that.
So it's a bigger thing, and that this wasn't a one-off incident. This is you a bigger thing, and that is a bigger repetitive fucking issue of behavior.
That wasn't
I wasn't
the only
saying
thing you
it's a
talked
bigger thing, and I'm upset about lots of different things. I don't understand how you fucking draw. Like, it's so weird because the language I'm using is very clear.
It's
Very
not,
concise and very clear,
because
and
5
you draw these
seconds
parallels
ago-
that don't exist.
5 seconds ago, you just said, I'm upset about you
Context,
neglecting
Rachel,
me.
context.
I'm
5
upset
seconds,
about not
we
being
were,
able to
we were talking
communicate.
about
I'm
a
upset
specific,
about
we were
working at home.
talking about a specific thing, and in context, when I said those phrases and the sentences, it was in context of what we were talking about. But then 3 sentences later, or 2 paragraphs later, whatever, the context of the conversation has shifted. So that doesn't apply to what we're talking about now, because the context of the conversation has changed. So you can't use something I said about what we were talking about something specifically. I said it to imply as it was applying to what we're talking about there, and then this context of the conversation has changed. You can't reapply that. That's not how it works. That's not how English language works. That's not how communication works. That's not how grammar works. You gotta fucking understand that this is an independent clause. You can't fucking bring it over and shoehorn it into another part of the conversation.
I don't
It doesn't
understand
work
what
that
we're
way.
fighting about then.
The fuck you? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Is that you don't understand what we're fighting about. You just
What are we fighting about?
really.
Yes.
We're fighting because I was upset with you, and you wanted to fucking make this into a bigger issue.
No.
I was upset with you about this, I got upset with you about that, and then fucking 10 minutes later when I'm still upset with you, you have to be like, we need to talk, this is a bigger issue, what's going on with you, how have you been so mad with me lately, and that's what we're fighting about. Is I'm trying to explain to you that you fucking taking singular incidences or fucking stuff that I have legitimate reason to be upset with you about, and then you take those, but you fucking mash them together so in your head that it's this huge fucking glob of fucking anxiety and anger and short-temperedness, when it's not. It's really just a bunch of isolated incidences that trigger together. And like this isolated incident of me being upset with you, I'm upset with you. I'm upset with you about the specific thing. But this specific thing is repetitive behavior, and that's why I'm upset with you, because this is a bigger thing. You interrupting me is a bigger thing. It's not a one-off. So I'm talking in the context of this specific issue of you interrupting when I'm trying to handle Reina, that you do it all the time. And that is a bigger issue than you just doing it this one time here. And that's what I'm trying to get across to you, is that I'm not upset with you because you did it this one time. I'm upset with you because you do it all the time. Then the conversation shifts to, again, then we start talking to more general concepts about like how you handle stuff like that and things like that. So we're talking about specific instances here, and then we spend to a general concept. You can't take something I said in context of the specific instance and apply it to the general conversation that we're having, because I said that in context of that specific instance.
What are we fighting about right now?
We're fighting nothing. We're fighting. I'm upset with you, and you don't like it when I'm upset with you. That's what we're fighting about. You don't like it when I'm upset with you, and you feel like I can't. That it's not reasonable. That
I never said any of that, but
okay, whatever. What are we fighting about right now, then, Rachel?
I don't know.
Okay, come on.
When you said,
What are we
hey,
fighting
I don't like when you do this, you come in and you interrupt when I'm dealing with Reina. I said, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I do that. I'll try to do something different.
Yeah.
So I
And then I'm still
acknowledged
upset
and
with you.
apologized. Fine.
Yes, and then I was still upset with you.
And so then I asked you what was wrong, and that is what we're fighting about.
No, you asked me what was wrong. I told you I'm still upset with you about this. And then you had to bring up, well, how come you've been so upset? How come you're so mad at me lately? How come you're just constantly mad at me? How come you're so mad at me?
And that made you mad.
And that made me mad because, again, like I said, you're taking singular incidences of anger that are justifiable and reasonable for the most part, and expanding them into some weird fucking reality that doesn't exist. Like, I don't.
That seems really condescending.
It is really condescending.
Well, I don't appreciate that.
Well, I don't care.
Thanks.
Like, I don't, give me another language to use in order to explain that then. Because that's exactly what happened.
You don't need to be insulting when
it's
you
not
explain
insulting. If it's condescending, if it's insulting to you, it's because you're offended. Like, and why are you offended by me pointing out something? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Is that you get offended when I point things out to you.
What did you just point out that was offensive
That
to
you
me?
took these singular incidences and expanded them into an overarching friggin' issue that I don't believe is like accurately reflects the reality of the situation.
And I thought that was condescending?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Why not?
I think it was your tone or the way you were talking about me.
Oh, so tone and the way you're talking does matter to you.
About me, yes, when you're insulting.
Okay, yeah. So when I ask you to fucking tell you check your tone or check the way that you're talking to me,
I
and you're
probably
just
should.
and you act like I couldn't be fucking more wrong. When I tell you like the way that the things you say to me are offensive, or that what you said to me upsets me because of the way your tone and your intonation, you always fucking have to go into a big defensive thing.
So that's
When
what you're
it's-
doing now?
No, that's not what I'm doing now. I'm just trying to fucking draw your attention to again the dual set of standards that you have. One for me and one for yourself. And the one for yourself is so broad and lax, and like you have so much that you allow yourself within, but you confine me to this very narrow set of expectations. And anytime I stray outside of it, regardless of whether or not you behave in the same manner, it's like you have to address it right away. But if I try to address it with you, you have to defend it. The expectation is I don't defend myself. The expectation is I just listen to you, accept, acknowledge, and move on. So I expect the same thing from you in return, but that's not how it ends up working. And I keep trying to point this out to you, that if you approach me with something, if you approach me with an issue, if you approach me with something that you want to address or stuff like that, we talk about it, we address it, stuff like that. But if I come to you with something I want to address or talk to you about, you get offended, you get defensive and angry and aggressive, and it's like, so I can't ever have a conversation about you. And this is what we're fighting about now, is this difference of how these perceptions that you have of yourself and of me, and the difference between your expectations of yourself and me. And like I can't keep watching you. It's hypocritical for you to behave in the manner that you expect me not to behave. And that's what I'm trying to get across to you, is like you need to temper your expectations or align them with
It feels
something.
like you're all over the place, and I'm having
How
a
am I
hard
all over
time
the fucking
following.
place?
I'm having a hard time following what this is about and what your
I'm
expectation
trying to
is.
get through to you, Rachel, and I've been trying for fucking years to get through to you. Just because I'm upset with you at 9 a.m. on a Monday doesn't mean I was upset with you all day Monday. And that's the core of the conversation, is that, and you've repeated it over and over again, you've confirmed that that's your thought process, is that if I'm upset with you, like again, once a day is all it takes for that to build into, and now I've been upset with you for weeks on end. And it's like, I can be perfectly reasonable. Perfectly normal people don't go entire days without having little things that annoy them about the other person. That's not like the reality. So I don't know where your expectations are coming from of how a relationship should be or how people should interact. It's like it's just got to the point where it's like I go into this expecting a fight right off the bat, so I'm already fucking ready for a fight because I know if I bring anything to you, it's gonna be a fight. And you've set those expectations yourself, not for me. You've set that expectation in your behavior and the way that you talk to me and the way that you treat me, your body language, and the way that you respond.
Except
so
today,
what about
when you
today?
brought something to me, how did I respond?
I don't. You said the right thing, but behaved immediately contradictory to the way that you said by then coming having to go to me. But why are you so upset with me lately?
Lately, yes, because you have been upset with me a bunch of days in a row, and I'm wondering if things are worse than they are. I'm just
this
checking
is the language
in.
that you use that creates the reality in your mind that is contradictory to reality. Because you've been angry with me a few days in a row. No, I haven't been angry with you a few days in a row. I've been angry with you at specific moments in time in those days. To say that it encompasses the entire day. To say that it encompasses the entirety. You've been angry with me for a few days in a row now.
I slept every day this week.
You. Say it again. I've been angry with you for a few days in a row now.
I slept.
You've been angry with me for a few days in a row now. If I said that to you, you'd be like, no, I haven't been angry with you for a few days. I was upset with you on Monday about this. On Tuesday we talked about that. But I haven't been angry with you for 3 days. I haven't been angry with you for several days.
I've slept every day this week.
What does that mean?
I've had some sleep every day this week.
Okay, what does
I've slept every day this week. Does that mean I slept all day, every day this week? No. When I say you've been angry with me a couple of days this week, I mean you've been angry a couple of times on a couple of days this week. In what universe would I think that means all day? And why do you think I think that means that?
That's a false equivalency because the connotations involved with the word sleep imply that there isn't a friggin'. But if you said I slept for the last 3 days, then I would say, yeah, wow, you slept for 3 days, and then you would clarify and put it into context. If you said I was mad at you for the last 3 days, that I would be like,
I said lately.
I say,
You've been
really?
mad lately.
I've been mad at you for the last entire 3 days.
I
Like,
didn't
it
say
needs
the last
clarification.
entire 3 days.
Like I said, if I slept
I
for
never
the last,
said that.
I slept for the last 3 days. Yeah, I would be like, you slept for 72 hours.
I have slept in the last 3 days.
I have no.
You
There's-
have been mad at me in the last 3 days, every day.
No, the context and the connotation of the words matters.
Not to me.
It does though.
I don't understand your meaning then.
What do you mean?
Because I am certainly not trying to imply that you have been mad at me all day, every day for like a week.
But you are, because
That's the way you're taking it.
No, the entire way that you approach me in the conversation that you have, you never acknowledge the individual incidences. You just refer to it as a larger time period: day, week, month. What's been wrong with the last days? What's been wrong with the last week? What's been wrong with the last month?
Okay,
You
so
don't
should
refer
I
to
say,
specific
what's been
instances
wrong with you the last couple of
because if
times?
you break it down to the specific incidences, you would realize that, hey, he hasn't been mad at me just the day. He was mad at me on Tuesday about that. I did this and they got upset with me. Okay, yeah. He wasn't mad at me the whole day. Then on Wednesday, I did something like that and then he got upset with me. And you can't say that there weren't times in that day where I also didn't do something that upset you. But I don't say, hey, how come you've been so fucking pissy with me last day?
So you do?
No, I don't. Don't say that I do. Like, I fucking...
I don't know another way to say it. So I'm not trying to be dumb, but like, what would you prefer? Hey, how come you were mad at me at 10 o'clock on Tuesday and 12 o'clock on Wednesday?
What I would prefer is you acknowledging...
Like, that seems
Is you
oddly
acknowledging
specific.
that individual case is not always a symptom of a larger problem.
What's
Yes.
wrong with checking in?
What do you mean what's wrong with checking in?
What's wrong with checking to see if it is a bigger problem?
Because you're not checking in. You're just you're calling
Hey,
me
you've
out.
been really upset with me lately. Is
You're
there
not
anything
checking
wrong?
in. You're calling me out. You've been upset with me for the last few days. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So that starts off the conversation on a bad foot. You're attacking me. The accusation is that I've been upset with you for the last few days. So immediately I have to defend myself and say, look, I haven't been upset with you the last few days. It's just been individual incidences.
Why don't
so
you just say, yeah, I have
immediately you
been.
start off the conversation with an aggressive premise that requires defensiveness. Immediately you start off the
You look
conversation.
like you're trying to like.
I'm angry with you. I don't want to fucking even talk to you right now, but I have to have this conversation with you because I need to fucking get through to you somehow. Like, this behavior is ridiculous. Like,
With me saying that to you, what do you think would happen if your response was, I've just been pissy lately, and then that's it? Like, what do you think would happen? Why not acknowledge what I'm saying as something I'm trying to say to you and check in on, instead of going, she thinks I'm mad all day, every day, fuck her. That's not what I'm thinking. You jump to a really
I'm
weird
sorry.
place with it.
That's a lie, and you know it because this has been an ongoing theme for the last 15 years in our fucking relationship. That I've had to explain over and over and over to you again. Just because I get upset with you doesn't mean it's a fucking bigger issue. I can be upset with you about something, and it cannot be about a bigger issue. I can't count the amount of times I've had to explain that to you, that I'm allowed to be angry with you for something that you did that upset with me, but it doesn't mean that there's a bigger issue. I can be mad at you for you doing something that upset with me.
Okay, so don't ask about it then. Right? That would probably be best. Just take them as one-offs and don't think that it's a symptom of you just being angry or hating me. Don't think that it's a symptom of you being really unhappy in this marriage, being unhappy with me. Don't think that.
I'm sick and tired of having to constantly reassure you. When you
Well,
don't
I'm
fucking
sorry,
do anything to
but-
reassure me in our relationship, like, why do you need this level of reassurance when your fucking level of reassurance is big as your fucking to stick your face in your phone?
What?
Like I just said, like, I mean, like, it's like your expectation is to have this constant reassurance from you that stuff is fucking that I'm not gonna, and it's sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm just fucking. It's 15 years we've been fucking together. Like, get over it.
Get over
I
what?
would have fucking left a long fucking time ago or a bunch of stupid pettier shit than this if I wasn't fucking in it for the long run. I'm sick and tired of having to constantly reassure you over fucking because your self-esteem needs fucking padding or whatever the fuck it is.
No, I
Like,
think
it's not.
that-
You shouldn't be able at this point in your life to understand that you are a successful fucking adult and have some self fucking worth for yourself without it having to come from me. And I should be able to fucking criticize you and compliment or fucking make comments about things that I dislike without it having to affect your overall fucking self-reflection.
It's the way you do it.
I don't-
You're insulting often, you're condescending often, you're critical, and it's not constructive criticism, it's criticism.
No, I disagree.
And my self-esteem is not tied to you, but my self-esteem in this relationship is tied to a lot of the things you say when you're angry, which is like, I'm fucking sick of this, why are we even together? we should be done. I can't fucking stand you. You're mental. You say shit like that to me. So why wouldn't I need reassurance that you're sticking around? You don't seem that happy.
I'm not fucking happy.
I
Not
know.
even a little bit.
I know.
I'm fucking miserable.
I know. It's obvious. And you tell me. But today, I think, I took something that you have asked me to do, and I did it in a fight. And I think that should give you not that like, oh, she's changed completely, everything's gonna be great. But I listened to you and acknowledged it and said sorry without defending myself at all. Like, it was just, yeah, oh, I didn't know I did that. Because you have something to say, and I need to be able to hear it. And I'm trying to do that, and I told you I would try to do that. And I think you should take that as, like, she's trying.
No.
I can't just fix
Instead, what
everything
happened
overnight.
was, and yeah, maybe I'm fucking putting thoughts in your head, but instead, and this from my perspective, what happened was you did something like that, what I asked, and then immediately launched into why are you so upset with me so long? So it's like, yes.
Yeah.
So to you, it's
Those
almost
are
like
two different
to
things,
you,
though.
no, it's almost like a financial transaction. You put in this, so now you get this back. Not acknowledging the fact that what you did upset me, and I'm still upset with you, and mad at you, and I still need time to fucking settle down before I talk and address it to you. So in your mind, it was like, okay, I did what he wanted, now he has to do what I want, which
No,
is talk about it.
except the question was, and yeah, you are putting thoughts in my head. The question wasn't, why are you still mad at me?
Why are you so mad?
Why have you been so mad with me lately? Was the question. And maybe it was the wrong time to ask that, and so I acknowledge that, that's fine. Maybe I should have never asked that, or maybe I should ask that when you're calmed down. But it wasn't what you think it is, and it wasn't that I was like,
Again,
hey, he should be better now. It wasn't that at all. This was a
I
different
hate that question
incident.
because you asked that question to avoid having to actually reflect on the situations.
I don't agree.
I agree, because if you had actually spent time reflecting on the situations, you would see that I haven't been mad at you all lately. I've actually done a lot of nicer things, lots of good things, things that help make your life easier, offered help and assistance, a lot more than I've been upset with you. But you don't actually stop to examine that. You latch on to the negative and you grasp onto it like a fucking life preserver for a drowning person. It's just it's like you thrive off of it. And that's why I say, like, I'm sick of
Well, I
not
certainly
getting,
don't
I'm
thrive
sick
off
of not
of it.
getting acknowledgement for the positive shit I do and only fucking get fucking lectured on the negative shit I do. Like, you're so quick to jump at me for any negative thing and so fucking slow to acknowledge any of the positive things. Like, it's so you created this situation where I fucking lose no matter what. And that's what I'm sick of. This is what we're fighting about. Is how, like, friggin' you over exaggerate the negative and you latch onto the negative, and the negative you hold on to so much more closely than you do the positive. And for whatever reason, that's whatever. That is what it is, and that's the problem. That's what I keep telling you the fucking problem is. I've said it so many fucking times in the last 15 years, I feel like I'm fucking going crazy.
What's my problem?
But that is your problem. That is your problem, is that you
No,
latch onto the
what's
negative.
the problem that I have? What would be my problem from my perspective?
What do you mean? I don't understand the question. What do you mean?
What do you think, like, if I had to say there's a problem with our relationship, what do you think I would say?
My husband's mean to me when we fight.
Yeah? I don't like that. I wish it was a healthier way that we could communicate disagreements. Like I do. What?
Nothing. What other problem? What other problem did you come up with?
Well, I'm not like listing them off. I don't have like, I'm not super unhappy with this. So,
No. Because you get most of the benefit out of this relationship. Most of the benefit is for you. Most
What
of
do
the
you
stuff.
mean?
I mean, you benefit the most out of this relationship. The work and the effort and all that stuff, and the majority of the relationship is carried by me. And you've acknowledged that before, and you're aware of that. And in terms of like almost every aspect of this house, our sex life, our social responsibilities in terms of our house care, stuff like that. It's
what's
like
a social responsibility?
just like in terms of like friggin' our house, like the expectations around maintaining houses and stuff like that, those types of things, like those things, those stuff I carry.
You say social, I
House-
think.
I don't know fucking way to explain it. Housework, house cleaning, household responsibilities, stuff like that. I carry all of that. I carry out fucking, like, you and I carry our relationships. I initiate most of our conversations. I'm the one who fucking does the thing, does the bigger gestures, and makes gestures to keep our relationship interesting and fucking healthy. I'm the one who often is the first one to, like, you know, if we're gonna do something, I'm the one that fucking makes us do it. I'm the one who forces you to come out for walks, to fucking participate in family activities when you don't want to, when you just want to sit on the couch. And I feel like and this is the thing, is you've acknowledged before that I carry the majority of the relationship. So you benefit the most out of your relationship. And sometimes I just want you to fucking acknowledge that, show me some appreciation, or participate in some ways and stuff like that. So I also feel like, you know, when I'm making suggestions and things like that, since I'm the one who does the majority of the fucking work, for me to come in and ask you to do it a different way, or a way that's more pleasing to me, that's acceptable. That's a reasonable thing. It's like the dishes and stuff like that. If I do 99% of the dishes and you come in and decide you're going to do the dishes and I have a suggestion on how you do them, you're coming into my territory, you're coming in and doing my fucking job.
It's really unhealthy.
It's not really unhealthy,
It is.
Rachel. It's not.
It is.
No, it's not.
Like yesterday?
No.
It's
Like
not.
yesterday
It's
what?
not your territory. You don't get to claim.
It's not like that. This is, again, you're creating these fucking, like,
I'm just going by what you just said. If I'm misunderstanding it, clarify, please.
like, I tried to explain to you how I mentally function and communicate and stuff like that, and you're just telling me, like, it's not healthy. And it's like, yeah, fine, it may not be healthy, but that's the way my brain processes shit. So you just, yeah, I might have an unhealthy brain, fine, but this is the way my brain processes shit.
Okay.
This is the stuff I talk about. If I had a fucking diagnosis, would you be telling me that it's not okay for me to be upset about my routine being fucking broken? If I was actually fucking diagnosed with autism or somewhere on the spectrum, and I told you that breaking my routine like that really upsets me, would you have been so casual and so fucking, like, just to blow it off as you were yesterday? Like, knowing that I actually had an actual medical diagnosis, diagnosis that explains why I get so upset when my routines are broken.
Let me ask you something about
What?
like that. Do you think that the world should bend around someone with a diagnosis? Do you think that everyone in the house should do things to appease the one person that has a problem?
Rachel?
Do you think that? Because say I have depression, which means I see things negatively, a diagnosis as well. So that's just the way my brain works, and you should accept that that's the way my brain works and not get mad at me for seeing things negatively. That's what you're saying.
No, Rachel, what I'm trying to say is that there's often reasons behind why I get so upset about
There's
something.
always reasons behind everyone gets
Listen,
what
let me
if.
finish fucking talking. There's reasons behind why I get so fucking upset. And yesterday I acknowledged that I was being irrationally upset, and I was trying to explain that to you when you fucking interrupted me and escalated the situation. I acknowledged it. I was trying to acknowledge that I was being irrationally upset with you, and there wasn't really any reason for it other than I don't like having my routine upset. And I was trying to explain that to you when you felt the need to fucking yap your mouth when in the middle of my fucking sentence, and that pissed me off. And that escalated the fucking situation past where it was. When I was trying to de-escalate the situation, you felt the need to fucking jump in and interrupt me with something completely fucking unrelated to what I was trying to say. Fine. But acknowledge the fact that you escalated a situation when I was trying to defuse it. So when you talk about yesterday when I was upset with you, I'm upset with you because I was trying to fucking do everything in my power and acknowledge the fact that I was being irrational, respond appropriately, and let you know that I was being irrational and expose and apologize. Instead, you escalated it. And that's why I was upset with you yesterday. So when you say things like, why are you so upset with me, lady? My response is, why are you so incapable of fucking just listening, let me finish the sentence, and get my fucking feelings out? Then I wouldn't have to be so fucking upset with you all the time. Like, this is part of the problem, is you refuse to accept your role in any of these situations. The role that you play of escalating and escalating and escalating. It's like, I never fucking start off coming at you angry and swearing and stuff like that. I always start off approaching you in a way and stuff like that, and then you escalate and then I get angry.
Yesterday, how was your approach?
What do you mean, how's my approach?
Your
yesterday?
initial approach. I was in the kitchen. How was your initial approach?
I said,
Aggressive and angry, right from the start. Maybe we have different ideas about what aggressive and angry is then. Because that, you were escalated, boom, like that, and then you went away, and then you came back and wanted to talk about it, and I interrupted you, and you lost it. So you were like here, and then you went away for a smoke, came back, you started talking to me, I interrupted you, and you went,
I didn't go for a smoke. I went outside, and then you sent out Raina right behind me, so I was outside with Raina.
I didn't send Raina out behind you. Like, if she went out behind you, like, I didn't say go find daddy or anything. Come on. I don't know what you were doing outside. I thought you went for a smoke. The details don't matter. You left the situation, came back, tried to talk to me. I interrupted. And it was over for you.
I don't understand what your point is. I said most of the time I comment to you and I start down here. I didn't say all the time. I didn't say 100% of the time. I said most
It sounded
of the time.
like you said all the time.
No, I said I try to.
You
fucking
said I
start-
never start here.
Yesterday in the kitchen, there was like fucking, it was angst. That's all it was. I
Okay.
didn't want you in my kitchen. I wanted to come upstairs when I was fucking done work, come in the kitchen, fucking tidy up, relax, because it helps me fucking unwind.
But
at the end of
instead,
my
you
day.
found me in the kitchen cleaning.
Yeah, and that frustrated me and annoyed me, and I didn't handle it well. And then when I came back in to let you know that I didn't handle it well, you escalated it. And again, like I'm trying to tell you that quite often that's how these situations go. Is that I behave in a way that isn't good or inappropriate, and I try to acknowledge it, and you escalate instead. So
I'll
there's-
have to watch for that, because I don't realize when I interrupt a lot of the time. Like I don't. So, and I don't do it to escalate things. I certainly don't. But I might do it because I thought you were done, or I thought, I don't know. Because often in our arguments, you're the one with the majority of the words that are said. You talk at me, and then I say one thing, and then you talk at me. And that's kind of how it goes. And so sometimes I probably interrupt because I don't get much chance to say what I want to say or to whatever. But I'll watch for that. I will. I'll try. I don't realize that I do it. And so like I will pay attention. But I don't think, like, it's not a malicious thing. I can tell you that. It's just it's either I have something I need to say and I don't think I'm going to get to say it, or I thought you were done talking. Because you do draw things out sometimes, or take a gap when you're thinking of the next thing to say. And that gap to me feels like
no,
it's a
I
stop.
don't. I do that when I'm telling fucking stories, pointless stories that are fucking rambling on. I don't do that when I'm making an argument, Rachel. I don't fucking do that.
Okay.
What happens is you ask me a question, I start to fucking answer the question, and you jump in at 3 words out of my fucking mouth. That's how you fucking interrupt me. That's why I get pissed off. You ask me like, how could you do that, or why would you say that? And I start to answer you, and then you're like, but, right in my fucking face. You're gonna jump in and interrupt right in the fucking face, so I can't even answer the fucking question you asked. That's what happened yesterday. That's what happens the majority of the time.
Mm. Do you want Masalas for dinner tonight, or do you want the HelloFresh?
Shit.
What?
I don't care.
You don't give a shit.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I do.